Welcome back here, and this is the men's semi-finals of the 40s division here at the World Cup. Australia versus Japan. Japan have tapped off. They have the ball. They're facing one of the powerhouses in international touch in Australia, and they are now into the attacking zone. And that's Asano who takes off to the right-hand side of the field, testing the Australian defence, but Phil Jarrett there closes the hole down. The referee realises that it was the acting half caught in possession. Australia will bring the ball back into play, coming off their own line, and a little bit hazy conditions here this morning. The heat is out. Australia working the ball to their box, and they're bringing their fresh troops on. And Scott, what are you expecting from this game?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, actually. I think it was a great effort from the Japanese side to make the semi-finals, but the Australians, they've just been a juggernaut in the 40s, and they're looking like scoring their first touchdown here, and they have...
Tony Eltashi there, you'll see him feature a lot there, taking the ball out of half, going back to his left-hand side of the field, slipping through the line, and finding David Rose there, I believe, for the first touchdown.
Yeah, it just opened up a little bit too easy for the Australians. That was their first possession for this match, and they've shown intention early on in the semi-finals. Nice run from half, good connecting pass, and the first touchdown to the Aussies.
Now Japan back in possession of the ball. They'll look to drive down the field. And there it is with Fokusawa. And he's throwing the intercept there. Australia, they'll bring the ball out to their 5. And they'll drive forward now. Again, you can see that that's Tony Eltashi moving the ball out to his box in the hands of Rose. They get it to their substitution box now. They'll bring their subs on. They'll be looking to isolate the... Oh, there's an error in the roll ball, and well picked up by the referee. Not something that Australia was looking for. Now Japan. You can see the Australian defence pressing right up on the Japanese here, trying to take time and space away from them. Japan, good interchange of passing there, and that was off Yonezawa. And there's Fukasawa again, driving the ball forward. In the hands now of Ogiyama. Ogiyama gives it back inside to Takaguchi. Takaguchi at half now. He finds Okiyama again. Interchange of players between Takaguchi and Okiyama. Okiyama kicks off to the right-hand side of the field. He's got the Australians caught short, and there was an opportunity, Scott, gone begging.
Yeah, nice work there coming out of the half there from Tsuji, and nice speed work as well. The ball just went behind the outside support there on the right-hand side for Japan, but that was their first real chance of getting the opening touchdown in this match.
Once again, Australia looking to get fresh legs out there. Very important at this time of the competition to make sure that you don't use up all your petrol tickets, and you've got some in the tank in reserve to win this game, but also then make sure you can put your best foot forward. There's the Australians on a double switch there. And take the ball forward. Drew Davies with the ball now. Australia looking to set up there as Remilton takes away the the pass. They went to the left-hand side of the field, knocked down by Japan. They'll have 6 more touches here. This could be danger for Japan. Gleeson at half. Gives it to Reynoldson. Back to Gleeson on the wrap. He releases to Davis. Davis trying to pull the middles forward. Gleeson, he'll be looking for his big step there. They're just setting the Japanese play up. There's a penalty here for not moving forward. Referee wants Gleeson to move the ball across the field. There's Gleeson now with the ball. He's off to Davis. Davis looking to bring Morgan into play. Morgan being the number 2. He's at half now. Long ball to the left to Gleeson. They're just tempting the Japanese to come forward yet. They haven't got them in the position they want. Reynoldson with the ball. Drops it back to Gleeson. Reynoldson will go from half this time. He throws the long ball out to Morgan. Morgan coming back to the right-hand side of the field. And that's very good play there. And that's Drew Davies just finding a hole and diving through, and just a little bit too easy on that.
Yeah, it actually didn't really look like there was too much happening for the Australians on that occasion. Troy Morgan just drifting across field. It looked like they were manned up quite nicely. The Japanese, they just managed to get on the outside shoulder and dive in underneath of Japan, and that's the second one on the board for Australia.
Japan now will be looking to hit back, try and get on the ball. And there's Yachi with the ball. He has the ball again. And moving into the Australian territory now. Out of half. It comes across to Asano. Asano with the ball. He's got Yakashimi. There's Asano. Long ball outside, but well read by the Australian defence. As Vela came in to shut that play down.
Sorry to cut you off there, Dean. Just looked like you might have got caught in 2 minds there. He looked out, and I think if he pumped on the first instance, got a nice flat ball, they might have had a touchdown opportunity as Australia. They're stretching over the halfway line now.
Yeah, half opportunity there. Dave Rose just losing his footing. The referee just wants him to bring it back, and now they're going. Oh, a little bit harsh there that time. He fell over in the run, went back to what he thought the mark was and rolled the ball. One referee was asking him to come back, and the other one called changeover. Japan now with the ball just inside the Australian territory. It's in the hands of Yamashita. Yamashita drives across, getting fresh subs on there now. Intasana. And now the ball in the hands of Yonezawa. Yonezawa just waiting for these troops to come on the field. He gives it off to Kawada. Kawada just doesn't seem to be too much organisation with the Japanese team. They're trying to bring the middles into the play now. As they take off from half the left, knocked down. There should be 6 to go, but there's a penalty there. Not square, the referee ruling.
Yeah, it was actually held up there. The touch wasn't made. Adam Fahim screaming to the referee, indicating that he didn't make the touch on the Japanese players. They were driving into the line. Benfield
now. So he gets the ball out to Fahim. Fahim, solid touch there with the Japanese opponent. The referees have found a penalty here. And that was against Fahim for that strong contact in the ruck. Japan now just inside their own half. I want to get down into the Australian zone and see if they can set one of their plays up. Very lateral in their movement, and there's a mistake, not looking at the ball. We talked about that yesterday, Scott, teams going lateral before going forward, and it often brings teams undone.
Yeah, I think sometimes, depending on where they start their set, that tends to throw them out. They got the ball in a good position there, and they still weren't really of the focus that they needed to drive to go forward. But you still got to get yourself down the other end of the field. It's a really important aspect of your first couple of touches.
Reynoldson now, he drives to the right-hand side of the field. He brings Morgan out of the half. He's got a 4-on-3 and gives it to Davis, and Davis just touched there. Very good touch that time by Hutter. But they're looking dangerous, this pot of players for Australia. There's Reynoldson now, he dummies the ball, he goes long this time, all the way out to Vela. Really well set up, they ran a dummy rooster there. The pass goes behind the back, they throw the long ball out to Vela, and Australia take a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, nicely constructed touchdown there. You could almost give a touchdown assist to Troy Morgan. He was the one that was the dummy runner on the rooster play. Sold it perfectly. They send it out the back. A bit of a collision there between a couple of the players between Australia and the Japanese side. They send it over the top and they score in the corner.
Asana now for Japan. He's got Takaguchi at half. They're just moving the ball down the field between themselves. buddying the play up. Keisai at half. Gives it back now to Asano. Asano looks to cut Takaguchi out, but unfortunately the pass hits him and goes to ground.
Yeah, he's spot on there, Dean. I think that was definitely the right call, that he was looking to actually send it out to the right link position. Fortunately, he hit Takaguchi there, and it bounces off his body. That turns the ball over, and Australia, look at them, they're coming out of their end of the field really nicely again.
Rose gets it across to the box. It's in the hands of El Tashi now. There's Benfield running onto the field. Vella at half. He gives it to Jarrett. Jarrett just looking to slow it down. Had Fahim going early back on the sweep. And the man whose nickname is Kenny Nagus goes off his right. He pops the ball back inside to Jarrett. Jarrett out to Fahim. Fahim goes wide. And well defended there. And McPherson looking for the line, but well defended from Japan. And the old Kenny Nagus with the hop, step and pop pass.
Yeah, beautiful little over-the-shoulder pass there. But that just shows the strike prowess that the Australians have, because they actually lost their way coming into fifth touch. It looked like they were a little bit disjointed. They had a dead play and they tried to create a little something. They almost got over in this right-hand corner.
And now Japan driving the ball forward through Asano. They're bringing fresh legs on. Heat's rather oppressive. And that was Yachi now. It's in the hands of Yonezawa. Yachi this time. Yonezawa with the ball. He takes off to his left-hand side of the field, throws a long searching pass, but that's floated over the head of his winger. And it'll be a change over to Australia deep in their own territory.
Yeah, I wonder if the coaching staff from the Japanese side have identified Chris Benfield. He's wearing the number 13 for the Australian side. His right knee is heavily taped. He is not moving freely at all. He looks quite proppy, and he's out in the link position, so they might look to target him at some stage, the Japanese.
Australia shifting the ball again. You can see this constant pattern of getting in their box, and there's Benfield. Not striding out would be a fair way to put it, I would suggest. Gleason now, he looks across. Sorry, there's the ball in Davis's hands. He brings Reynolton back inside. They find Morgan again on the switch. Long ball out to McPherson. They've run that play a couple of times, and the referee has found a penalty, possibly for a forward pass. But they've run that double switch a couple of times and found Japan really stretched.
Yeah, spot on. And they've run that double switch for Troy Morgan on both occasions. And it was just, not a well-executed pass on that final one from Morgan. He won't be happy with the delivery of that one. It was forward. And pressure here again from Morgan, but it's going to be a penalty to Japan.
The penalty there for being offside. So Japan have got the touch, the tap here on their own 10 metres, on their own side of halfway. They go forward now through Keisai. They shift the ball, going too lateral for mine again, and that was Tuzichi. And a drive, this is better now, running forward. There's a good drive, they've got an opportunity here. He tries to run through the line, but the referee says the touch was made. A bit more urgency that time from the Japanese. The ball in the hands of Fukusawa. Fukusawa gives the pass out, but it's gone to ground, and when they do have an opportunity down here, they need to take a full advantage of it.
Yeah, Takeo Tsuji, he's their man for Japan. He's an absolute ball of energy. Only a little pocket rocket out there on the field, but he is holding his own and looking really impressive when he gets his hands on the football.
And has been playing for Japan for many years. Came up through their opens divisions and now playing in the 40s. As Australia drive deep in, that was Austin Payne. Out of half goes El Tashi. El Tashi gets on the sweep back, and little switch inside. And Webster sitting behind El Tashi, finds the line. And Australia go in for another touchdown. And that's 4 touchdowns to 0. Australia lead Japan.
Yeah, they transitioned nicely. They came out deep from their end of the field there, the Australians. And unfortunately, we gave them a wrap in attack, but Tsuji just was on the back foot. They managed to get on the outside of him. That caused the other Japanese defenders to come in and put pressure on, but the Australians, they finish off nicely, number 4 on the board.
Asano now. He's been instrumental. Asano for the Japanese. And the ball in the hands of Yonezawa. Asano now. He gets it down in front of Takaguchi. Takaguchi and Asano. A lot of interchange between the both of them when they're on the field. Takaguchi back to Asano. He throws a bad pass there, looking for Yonezawa, and the ball has gone to the ground, and this will give Australia the opportunity to stretch the Japanese, move to their box and get fresh troops on.
it's looking a little bit disjointed, unfortunately, at the moment. Japan, when they are coming down the attacking zone of the field, need to get some messages from the coaching staff just to revert back to what their structure and their set pieces are when they're trying to attack the Australian line.
You can see Australia now shifting the ball as they come on the sweep on the field. A poor roll ball there by the skipper, who won't be happy with himself about that. But I can also see, to be honest, no disrespect to the Japanese, but Australia are only in second gear at the moment.
Yeah, they're looking really comfortable. It's 4 touchdowns that they lead already. They haven't had to exert themselves too much as the Japanese side. They flirt with the sideline and managed to stay on, and they've got changes coming onto the field now.
And here go Japan now. They're into the opposing half. That's Ayachi. He's got the ball. Forward pass from the ruck. You see Australia there, not in any hurry. Conserving petrol tickets. They've got if they win this, and they're comfortable at the moment at 4-0, they've got their final tonight against the winner of New Zealand and France. And so Benfield, he switches it over to Fahim looking to get fresh troops on. Benfield just easing the ball forward. Vella at half. Goes to Morgan. He finds Gleeson. Morgan out of half. Throws a long ball out to Reynoldsson. Reynoldsson on the Davies. Davies drops it in. There's that switch play again to Reynoldsson. He gives it away to McPherson and they score in the corner, but the referee's found a forward pass. Nice play from Australia for no result.
Yeah, they're catching the Japanese side off guard. They're actually selling it really nicely, the Australians. It looks like they're just going to drive into the line, but they're sending those late switches out, and quite a surprising play that they ran the switch play and still attacked the short side in the same motion. So a little bit of tactics at the forefront here from the Australian team.
Yeah, they're really driving the Japanese defence mad with their change of direction and the different options they've got off the same play. As now Japan into the Australian half. They use the ball again. They go back onto the right-hand side of the field. Opportunity there, thrown away. Good defence there from Reynoldsson of Australia.
Yeah, they were trying to claim the 6 to go. They were clutching at straws on that occasion, the Japanese. They did throw the ball into one of the Australian defenders, but his hand was nowhere near the ball, so correct call there from the referees.
And this pot of players just going off now for Australia. They've looked the most dangerous when they've been on the field, and Coach Peter Vincent will be pretty pleased about that. No doubt they'll be keeping that pod together as they go into the finals if they get across Japan here today. El Tashi out of half. He'll look long again. That's floated forward for mine. Maybe 4 metres.
Yeah, it was caught by the winger out there. It was Robert Vella, but the problem was that he caught it on field 6, which is about 500 metres away. So I think it's a pretty good indication that pass was well and truly forward. Referee's
just having a conversation there. Maybe whether the defence was offside, but they've decided the defence was okay. And it's a penalty to Japan for the forward pass. Now Japanese deep in their own territory. They'll be looking to use this set, and again, their players slowed down a little bit too. It might be the conditions out there. It is early morning, but it's still very hot and humid, and that's better. That time from Ayasaka, the very good drive. Here goes Japan now through Tamaguchi, and that's Asano. Asano from the left to the right-hand side of the field. Through the ball, but through a bad pass. Flicked from the left back to the right, looking for an opportunity, but one didn't possess.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the Japanese side can do here, but I think it's a pretty good compliment to the Australian defence. It's really going to take something special for Japan to get a touchdown in this match. Throughout the whole tournament, Dean, the Australian side, they've only let in 6 touchdowns in their defence. They've scored 74 as well, so strong defence, and their attack is showing, and it's on display
here
in this match.
There's my man, Kenny Nagus, back on the field. Jarrett now, Nagus out of half, he gives it off to Fahim, he's thrown the intercept. Oh, would have liked to see Japan go the length of the field then.
Oh, he got excited then whenever there's an intercept taken, but the Australians must have made the touch at the same time. Would have been great to see him go the full distance and get their opening touchdown.
They drop the ball back inside. Australia resting one of their stalwarts, an ex-Australian men's open captain. Gavin Shuker not playing in this game. It might be a question have to be asked. Are they keeping him for the final, or is his form not up to it?
Oh, just it stinks of Shooks, doesn't it really? Nah, you boys do the hard work and I'll just play the final, thanks, and grab the medal.
Gavin, get me to the final, Shuker. Anyway, it's Australia now with the ball. Through the captain, Phil Jarrett. Around goes Benfield. He'll shift the ball onto for him. For him will drive in. He throws the dummy. He goes for the corner for him. He's got plenty of speed and he gets there at the corner. And that puts Australia out now to 5 touchdowns to 0. Just a simple shift to get fresh troops on. Oh,
he's gone out.
He's run out. Well, that'll come up in the team meeting tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were on the other side of the field, and it's hard to see how close he was floating to the sideline, but he was well in the clear. He only had probably 20 metres to get to the try line, so I don't know how he got himself disjointed to actually go over on the sideline on that occasion.
Well, it was a good chase from the Japanese defence, which was putting pressure on him to stride out as Japan now launch an attacking raid. So they didn't just give up on the play, Japan. They chased him hard to the corner, and that probably forced him to put a foot in the touch. Australia now in the hands of Gleeson. They swing around again. There's Morgan. He'll look to release. It goes out to Vella on the wing. There's Reynoldsson at half, and here come the fresh legs again. And down in front this time. Throw the ball. There's El Tashi. You'll see a lot of attack come off him. Head down for El Tashi. Out of half he goes. Off his right hand. A short pass. A great ball. And that's Simon Webster trying to get through there and score off a very good short ball from Tony El Tashi. Not known for his short ball. He is known for his long pass.
Yeah, well, it's just got to make mention. It's quite prevalent that you see teams throwing those big long bombs, but they're the touchdowns that I like to see. Nice short bit of pass work in between the Australians there, finished off nicely, and they get one right before halftime.
So it's halftime here in the men's 40s semi-final between Australia and Japan. Australia lead 5-0, and we'll be back shortly for the second half.
Talk to me and I'll relay it.
Hey, it's not up to us to call the game. It's like we can't call the game.
No, they say you got
Yeah, but we don't know the medical issues of your team.
Just let me know and I'll relay it. He's had enough.
Welcome back here to the second half now of the men's 40s World Cup semi-final between Australia and Japan. Australia leading Japan quite comfortably at the moment, and I think the Australian coach Peter Vincent will want to see his team relax a little bit in this second half, not spend too many petrol tickets, but still make sure that they're executing their plays well. Japan were very animated in their halftime huddle, so we might be seeing a rejuvenated Japanese men's 40s team. As Australia through Gleeson, he gets down in front of Reynolton. Reynolton finds Drew Davies on the wrap, and Troy Morgan hitting a beautiful hole, just a little rooster through their hands, really well set up by Australia, and that'll please the coaching staff.
Yeah, nice start to the second half. Might have been a little tap-off move. They executed it perfectly, opened up nicely, and again they go the short ball to the length, and Morgan strolls over. That's number 6 on the board for the Aussies.
Yeah, exactly the start Australia was searching for, and probably direct opposite of what the Japanese coaching staff would have liked to see. So Japan now with the ball on halfway. They fade to the left-hand side of the field. They go to the left again. Yamashita with the ball. Passing it off here, they're just slowing play down a little bit. The ball now at half is Yonezawa. He's directing traffic out there, Yonezawa. He comes from half again. Out he goes from half. He comes back to the left-hand side, right-hand side of the field, throws a long cut-out pass to Nakamura. And Nakamura is shut down by Australia's Vela. Nakamura to roll the ball. It's Yonezawa at half. He goes back and really a nothing play on the end. I know they're trying to trap Australia in this corner to make them work hard to get to the sub box, but when you're down by 6 on the scoreboard, you probably want to have a shot. As Australia now move the ball through their hands, they get to the sub box quite easily. There's Reynolton taking forward. You see the Australians all sweeping on now. El Tashi with the ball. You'll see that it'll come off him again. As they drive back down, the ball's in the hands of Rose. Rose pops a pass down. Oh, it was a little underarm pass for El Tashi. And he's helping the referees out there, giving the signal saying 6 more to go, sir. Rose now will roll the ball. El Tashi just directing traffic. He's got Austin Payne to his left. It goes to Payne now. There comes Rose around the wrap. El Tashi goes short to the left-hand side. He goes through the line quite easily. Good defence that time from Japan. And they shut Simon Webster down. But you notice when he went out of half, he showed to the right before he came back to the left. El Tashi at half. Still a little general out there, directing traffic. Likes to hold centre court in all aspects of life, Tony El Tashi. There's Rose out of the half. He throws the long cut-out pass. El Tashi tries to go back off his left-hand side. Does it really easy. Unselfishly gives the ball to Rose. And Rose scores in the middle of the field. Beautiful play by the Australians.
Yeah, just a bit of individual brilliance there from El Tashi. It's just like he had all the time in the world. Did a good job actually in support play out on this left-hand side, but then came back off the left foot. Could have scored the touchdown himself, no question, but just pops it back on the inside again. Beautiful work, good support play, and another touchdown there for Australia.
And the clown prince of Australian touch, Tony El Tashi, really having a big hand in this game. Every time he's on the field is instrumental in the attacking play. Now Japan, what can they answer with? That's Asano with the ball. Trying to bring the defence forward. He's got Rose there. Rose makes the touch. It's now in the hands of Takaguchi. Takaguchi gives it back to Asana. Asana drops the ball down on the middle. He's got the ball back again from half. He cuts the ball out, and there's an opportunity there. Opportunity for Hata to get the pass out, but just the Australian defence, Vela, shut him down very quickly. They still come to this right-hand side of the field, and that's the 6 touches. And Australia now deep in their own corner. They shift the ball, probably 2 passes, maybe even 3. Here goes Rose. Transitions around on the sweep. Gives it to El Tashi. He'll make his way to the sub-box. Rose drives to the box now, and on comes another pod. This is for him. My man, Kenny Nagus. He's down there in front of the skipper, Phil Jarrett. Nagus drives forward again. Jarrett out of half. He gives it to Fahim. Fahim will look to go to the afterburners here. He dummies, he goes through, but just he's kind of thrown more dummies in the baby shop then.
Yeah, it was. I was going to say he's in 2 minds. He's probably in 3 or 4 at one stage. He looked to run, looked to pass, and then all of a sudden a little bit of space presented itself to him. Did another dummy and then took off again. But yeah, touched it in the end, so they scrambled quite nicely there, Japan. They finally shut the Aussies down.
They're in Japan now, looking to get to their box. They're a bit heavy-legged here at the moment, the Japanese. And a heavy touch there by Vela.
Yeah, Vela's come in, sorry to cut you off, he's come in and made a couple of decent shots in the last couple of minutes there, Vela, so just needs to be a little bit careful.
Japan now with the ball that time. That was Yamashita. Yamashita get the ball off, and it's in the hands of Fukasawa. Fukasawa there, caught in possession, acting half court, and they give the ball back to Australia in good field position. They shift the ball now. Around goes for him on the sweep. He releases now to Benfield. Benfield gets it down in front of the wing. That's for him again. And here comes this dangerous pod of players we talked about. Reynoldsson, Gleeson, Drew Davies and Morgan. They've been a very attacking group, but they've had the ball each time. There's Morgan floating across the field. He dummies to Gleeson. He gets down from the Reynoldsson. Reynoldsson will get through the line to Morgan. Too easy that time, but every time this group get on the field, it's just a touchdown waiting to happen.
Yeah, they were in all sorts of trouble there defensively. The Japanese side, they just couldn't recover, and it was pretty much a stroll over touchdown in the end for the Australian team. And I just don't know how they can stop this bleeding the Japanese side. The Australians are really starting to work away with this match at the moment.
And if you're watching the game, you can see the way the Australians have structured this particular game plan. They're operating strictly in 3 pods, and both wingers not necessarily taking a break at this stage, but there's 3 different pods that'll come on the field and rotate through the possessions. As Japan now, they drive the ball forward in the Australian line, they get the pass out, and there's Vela. He's had a good game, he's going to have a crack here. Vela, he gets away from the first, but not the second.
He didn't want to go, did he, initially? He was just happy to take the intercept, and then went, I might have half a crack here. Tried to skip out. They managed to touch him, but put your head down, Robbie Vela. Have a go, son.
No, I'm with Robbie Vela. If I'm out there, I take the intercept. My first step, I'm actually looking to see who I can pass the ball to. Anyway, Australia come in now, and they drive in. They bring Rose back, sweeping to the right-hand side of the field. He pops the ball back to El Tashi. El Tashi gives the ball there that time to Webster, running a slight in-line, and just couldn't handle the pass. But that was that little pop under the arm play again there.
Yeah, again, it's just those little plays which are catching the Japanese side napping. It looks like the Australians are just going to roll into line and take the touch, but they're pushing that extra pass or kicking out as they are running into the line, and it's really having an effect on the Japanese defence.
Now Japan, Asana, he's tried very hard for the Japanese team here. There he goes, out from half this time. He's got no support players, but he gets the ball back inside just. He hits the head of the player. In Australia, we call that a falcon. And again, but the referee's found a penalty there. Offside looks to be the call. Tony Altashi a bit nonplussed about it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure whether it was onside. It might have been, I didn't quite see it, but I was just trying to pick up the signal from the referee whether one of the Japanese player was taken off the ball potentially. But regardless, it's a penalty, and this is going to be good field position for the Japanese. Can they create something to get a touchdown on the board?
Asana with the ball now. He'll be working with Takaguchi here. And they go to the right-hand side. They like this side of the field with Yamashita trying to dive through. And the Japanese have sent all their attack to this right-hand side of the field. Australia's left-hand defence with no luck so far. A ball in the hands of Asana. He shifts it out now to Yachi. Yachi gets the ball down. Asana out of half. He goes to the right-hand side of the field there, but that's good defence there from Austin Payne. And now Webster to bring the ball back in play. The ball's in Webster's hand. He drives forward first. Now I'll find Rose. He's going to look to shift to El Tashi. El Tashi will drive to the wing to bring fresh troops. And here comes in another pot of Australian players. Benfield with the ball. He's going to look to release here. There it is. Phil Jarrett calling directions. He's at half now, Jarrett. He's still pointing out the defender he wants the touch to be made on. Jarrett out of half this time. He goes to the right, comes back to the left, throws a very flat, long ball out to Vella. And he's just, he's having a ball out there, young Vella.
Yeah, you'd love to be a winger on this Australian men's 40 side. You're going to get plenty of touchdowns. Love to see how many he's got across the World Cup so far, Robbie Vella. But it was just good set-up play there in the initial. It was off the right foot, off the left foot, rear line, come back out to this left-hand side. Beautiful ball and finish there in the corner from Robbie Vella.
It'll be interesting to see the Australians' tactics here. This game well and truly in their hands. You can't see Japan getting back in there. They're currently down 9 touchdowns to 0. What do Australia do here? Do they continue their style of play? Do they take their foot off the pedal a little bit?
Oh, I'd be taking the foot off now for sure. There's no need for them to go at 100 miles an hour. This is a comfortable victory. They've got to think ahead for the next match. And Dino, that is the quarter time break by the look of it. There was an announcement over the half time, so the tournament staff here must have been keeping an eye on the temperature gauge. As a result, for the second half here, we're actually going to go into a quarter time break, so they'll get a chance to grab a quick drink before coming out for the fourth quarter.
And the Australian team's been very impressive in this, particularly the grouping of Morgan, Reynoldson, Gleeson. When they get on the field and they work with Drew Davis, they've been instrumental in setting the Australians' attack up in the red zone and look like scoring at will.
Yeah, it's just the ease of which they are able to do it, and that's the experience. Like the players that you've mentioned have played so much touch football at national level for this team coming through from the Opens division. But when they tend to get to the senior divisions, it's just like they play with absolute time on their hands. Time stands still sometimes, and they're still able to create fantastic plays, and they've been displaying that against the Japanese side throughout this match.
And Japan now, 10 minutes to play in this semi-final. They got a great effort to make the semi-finals for the World Cup. But what do they need to do to take something out of this last 10 minutes to looking towards the next World Cup?
Oh, you just want to finish off strongly, I think. It's always... You want to take some sort of positive out, particularly when you're playing against the powerhouse that is the Australian side. If they can get a couple of touchdowns, well, they've got to start with one to start with and get on the board. Try to hold the Australians as best they can defensively in this last quarter. They've also got to think about the bronze medal match, Dean. So they want to take a little bit of momentum going into that. France are currently taking on New Zealand. You would think that New Zealand will progress through there. So there could be a match against France for the bronze medal later on this afternoon as well.
And we have a lot of friends in Japan Touch, and we know that they will give their all the time, and that's what we'll think will occur here as we get into this last 10-minute stanza of this semi-final. The game will recommence from where it finished. Australia will bring the ball back into play through a roll ball. I missed what count it was. It's probably early in the touch count. And it's Vella who will bring it back into play. And Jarrett now drives the ball forward. He's got Fahim at half. They go the ball. They go to a two-pass shift to Benfield. They get to Fahim, a very familiar style. They've done this all game. Get to their sub-box. Bring fresh legs on. Here comes that dangerous unit now. And we've got Drew Davis with the ball. He's got Reynoldson. Reynoldson comes back off his right, finds Davis. He drops the ball long back inside to Morgan. Morgan steps his player, but that was a sixth touch. And I will tell you this, they got away with one there because that substitution was pretty sloppy from Australia. They actually had 7 or 8 players on at one stage, and Japan should have got a penalty up at halfway.
Yeah, unlucky if that was the case. I must say I didn't see that myself. But again, yeah, it wasn't probably the best set of the match there for the Australians. Losing count of the touches at the end as well. Morgan driving in thinking that they still had one more touch, and it wasn't the case.
Oh, so here's this could be dangerous for Japan, although this unit going off now, and you can see that they bring Tony Eltashi's unit back on the field. He releases there, that time to Payne. Payne puts the hands in Rose. Rose with a little underarm pop to Eltashi. He throws the ball out, and to Webster, and Webster onto that man Vella, and once again he's in the corner to score.
Yeah, David Rose loves that little underarm pop pass, doesn't he? It's been brought out quite a few times in this match, but it's working every time it's been delivered. They can't counteract it at the moment. And I was actually thinking about ahead that they looked like they were going to run out of space out of here on this left-hand side, but it's just inch perfect again, and Vella chalks up another one.
And just keep an eye on that. If Japan start to overread that and leave Rose to come back inside to pick up Eltashi, he will pull it back in and take off to the right. But so far the Japanese have been very committed to him defensively, and that's why that play works with bringing Tony Eltashi back on the pop pass. Japan now into the attacking zone. They're looking to run. Asano goes long. Oh, he's looking long there. Again, they've attacked to their right-hand side, and Ogiyama was the man they were looking for. Asano has had a good game. He's tried all day.
Yeah, they've come right a lot, haven't they? They've really tried to attack this right-hand side. That's the left-hand side defence of the Australians. I'd like to see if they can try to change up their point of attack a little bit and work a little bit more structure. They haven't really run any sort of sweep plays or anything like that throughout the match. They've got to try to create something to try and get one on the board.
And again, nothing different from Australia. They just shift the ball, get to their box, get fresh legs out there. Phil Jarrett, he's pointing. He wants them to get down on the left middle. He goes for him, tries to step on the outside. Oh, there's an opportunity there for a switch back to Payne. And he was looking for yet another, he's a greedy boy, he was looking for yet another touchdown.
Well, they come down the short side. I had absolutely no right to get through the Japanese defence. They were well covered in the end, but almost managed to slip straight through the wing and the link. But they get the touch and they hold out at least the Japanese. A little bit of a positive there for them at least.
And you can see there's a penalty here for overstepping the mark, and that's simply from the defensive pressure from Australia. They're not waiting for Japan to come to them. They're not rolling back. They're actually pushing forward, and that puts the pressure on the attacking play, especially when they're trying to get their box and bring fresh legs on. And again, Australia straight to the far sideline. Off they go, and on come the fresh players. There's Reynoldsson with the ball. He drops it back to his wing. McPherson. It's in the hands of Gleeson. He gives it across to Davies. He's looking to release Morgan from half. There's Morgan. A long ball back to Gleeson. Gleeson off the right-hand foot step. Good, well read there defensively from Japan. Morgan now. He brings Reynoldsson back in. A flick pass back to Morgan. Gives it out to McPherson. Nothing happening. Last touch. And again, now the heat and fatigue might be coming in here. Not so much physically for Australia, but mentally. A couple of errors here with their touch counts, not really getting it right the last couple of sets they've had. Here goes Gleeson dancing. He tries to step through. I'll tell you what, you'd see those moves on the dance floor tonight if they win the World Cup.
Yeah, I think there might be a few with some fancy feet on Saturday night, but they really, again, they shouldn't have gotten as far away with that as what they should have, the Australians. It wasn't a great set. They wouldn't be happy with it at all. They lost count of the touch count again. They were happy to give the ball away on the fifth. So not a good set there from the Aussies.
And the other side of that might be the fact that if they have taken their foot off the pedal here just to conserve energy, that can sometimes work against you in execution. As Asana takes off from half of the right-hand side of the field, he's through to the line. The referee's called a touch. Great play there from Asana. And as we said earlier, he's been probably one of Japan's best.
Wayne Gleeson with the dive, but yeah, Asana showing really good speed. I thought that might have been their first chance. Maybe that's just what it's going to take. Someone to drive through from the line and one of their speed men just to pick up and go from half.
Australia making good yardage forward here, getting to their sub box, bringing Tony Eltashi back on the field. He releases across there to Payne. He gives it back to McPherson. They bring Rose back. Look for the underarm pop. There it is. There's Eltashi. And he puts the ball down, Eltashi. And you don't think there'll be a few people who'll let him know that later on today?
Yeah, straight out of the hands. I'm not too sure what happened there. A bit of sweat or something on the ball. He's got a smile on his face. We can see it from here. The boys are absolutely feeding it to him from the substitution box. But David Rose needs to put a patent on that underarm pop ball. He owns that. It's, oh man, 6 or 7 times he's brought that out, and it's creating opportunities every time he whips it out.
And here comes Japan, and I'm on the back of Japan. I want to see him score as Takaguchi there puts the ball on the ground. He's got the ball in his hand again, but it's going to be a late pass. And that was Fukasawa who gets that pass away. It's going to be a penalty, I think, to Australia, or are they saying acting half court? Yep, so it's in the hands of Simon Webster. Painted half. He finds Rose, releases to El Tashi. Very unselfish play here. The Australians are only really staying on for 1 or 2 sets every time, and each unit gets off. They bring their next unit on. Phil Jarrett again, the general out there. He's directing traffic. He's telling where he wants the ball down. He'll go to half. He gives it back to my man. They call him Kenny Nagus. Here's a little bit of a hop, step and a jump from Kenny. They give it to Fahim on the left-hand side. He goes long out there, finds McPherson. McPherson tries to get back on the inside defender, but well read by Japan. Come on the land of the rising sun. Let's get down the field and put one on the board.
Yeah, they're shifting the ball early, trying to get out of their end of the field. Different little set play on that previous set for the Australians. Haven't seen them run that one too often, so it might be one that they're keeping in the back pocket for the grand final later on in the day.
Asano back on the field for Japan now. And he's working there with Yosawana. He gives it back off to Yachi. Here goes Asano. He gets through the hole. He goes short. Oh, look, 6 to go. 6 to go. No, the referee has said late pass. There's going to be a penalty for a late pass, and that's why she didn't give 6 to go. Our man, Mr. Vella, he gave himself up there. He put his head down and went straight back. He thought he would knock the ball down. But again, that discipline from Australia. Get it to the sub box. Get fresh legs on. There's Gleeson with the ball. He's down in front of Reynoldsson. Reynoldsson releases there to Davies. Davies will bring Morgan back on the switch. Morgan releases to Gleeson. Davies around on the sweep. He's going to the right-hand side of the field. They switch back to Reynoldsson. Reynoldsson Gandol, who was looking for the pop pass. Morgan puts it on the ground, but he's caught him out and he's through the line. They'll be looking to get in there. Oh, he's just... Oh, he had too long. He actually had too long with the ball. And Gleeson, the pass went to grout, but there's a penalty here. I haven't seen that signal before from the referee, so I'm not sure. Maybe it was in obstruction from the defence, maybe?
Yeah, he might be warming up for Saturday night as well. It was almost like a low version of the sprinkler just coming out. But Davidson, yeah, he overran the, Reynoldsson, who's got the ball back. He actually overran before the play when he went through from half. Shouldn't have got through, and definitely for as long as what he did, couldn't connect up. So it was a chance for another touchdown miss there from Australia.
The ball in Gleeson's hands now. He drags the defence out. Davies at half. He gives it to Reynoldsson, and Reynoldsson will just run a very nice in and out line. Scores the touchdown. They're looking for a sub. He's got his hands on his head. You said earlier, we're in a nice little area here, Scott, under some shade. We've got a fan going, but during the halftime break, you actually wandered out the sun shade, or the unshaded area of the sun, and said it was probably about 10-12 degrees hotter.
Yeah, unbelievable. Just went down a couple of steps out onto the field just to double check the score at half time, and as soon as I hit the sun, it was like being hit in the face with a wet fish. It really is quite hot out there. It's at least 10 degrees hotter what it felt like.
Oh, nearly a flick pass there, Scott, and that would have been interesting. Japan probably could have scored in the corner, but great exhibition of touch football for the Australian men's 40s team in this semi-final. We haven't got the results of the France-New Zealand game. I'm trying to look across there now. I tend to favour that New Zealand probably has won that, so it might be a traditional battle in the men's 40s final.